and welcome to this episode of Batavia Spotlight, where we get to know more about community organizations and businesses here in Batavia, as well as in our local communities. I'm Ellen Huxtable, your host. So let's get started. Today, our first guest is Cynthia Wade, who is the founder and the managing director of Do Over Me, which is a very special kind of not-for-profit here in the Fox Valley. Thank you for joining us, Cynthia.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Ellen. I'm pleased to be here and pleased to have the opportunity to share DoOver.me's mission with the community.
Tell us a little bit about what DoOver.me does.
DoOver.me helps people, supports people who are in transition. And transition is kept deliberately vague because it can be any kind of a life transition where you say to yourself, oh my gosh, what just happened? And more importantly, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? So people that are divorced, people that have experienced a health scare, a death, people who are empty nesters, people who are in any kind of a career transition can get stuck. And all of a sudden they are overwhelmed by all the possibilities, and so they don't do anything. And psychologists will tell us that this is a phenomenon just like fighting and fleeing. Freezing is the new phenomenon of what happens when people can't make a decision about where to go next. DoOver.me steps in, tries to support those people, meet them where they're at, and help them to make some decisions and hold them accountable to the actions that they need to have to move forward.
So how did you get started in this? What's the background of DoOver.me?
Well, that's really interesting because it actually came out of my do-over. And what happened in the summer of 2013, I experienced a multitude of different kinds of crises, most people would call them, which were actually opportunities for me to take my life in a different direction. I didn't see it at the time. I had major surgery. I turned 60. I had my daughter's boyfriend move in with us unexpectedly. I lost my job totally unexpectedly. And then all of a sudden my daughter and her boyfriend moved out and I was an empty nester. And that all happened within about 4 months. And at that point in time, my life was unrecognizable. And I became very depressed and spent a lot of time on the couch with the vodka bottle and really was not happy about my life and where I was going. This was not where I thought I was going to be at 60 years old. And I realized that I had to do something very dramatically different if I wanted to change my life. I had to act. I had to do something different. So I got Bella, our DoOver.dog, and I joined an improv class, and I just started to move out into the world to try to do things differently. And as I did that, I started to feel better. I started to get a lot more confidence, and about 6 months after that, DoOver.me was born.
What kinds of assistance do people receive at DoOver.me?
It really is very individualized because, as I said earlier, we meet people where they're at. Depending upon what kind of transition you're in, that's going to determine what kind of hard and soft skills that you need in order to be able to move forward. So, for example, if you're a college student, we worked with a young man actually from Aurora, who is a junior in college. He's going into his senior year in September. He needed to get an internship. That was part of his graduation requirement, and the college wasn't doing a lot to help him. So he came into DoOver.me. We helped him with his resume. We helped him with his LinkedIn profile. But more importantly, we helped him with his interviewing skills. We set up a mock interview, which we videotaped for him, coached him on his interview skills, helped him to try to identify companies where he might have a potential opportunity for an interview, for an internship, and he got it.
Great.
So he's working this summer at this internship. He'll go back to college to finish up his senior year in the fall, and then probably sometime around the holidays, he'll come back to DoOver.me, and we'll take a look and revamp his resume and his LinkedIn profile and help him to start to move forward to actually get a job.
What kind of professionals are available through DoOver.me? What does your staff or your volunteer staff look like?
Well, right now the volunteers at DoOver.me are all in an administrative or operational capacity, but we do have several people in the community that we can refer people out to. So depending, again, on what you need, we have financial planners, we have psychologists and therapists that we can work with, we have people that do meditation and stress reduction exercises. Really, it just sort of depends, again, on what that person needs. But there's a multitude of different professionals within the Fox Valley that have come forward to volunteer their skills and talents to support the people at DoOver.me.
So act very much as a clearinghouse then for a number of different kinds of professional support that people might need.
Exactly, because as I said, everybody's different and what you're going to need is going to be different. And so we realize we can't be everything to everybody. What we're trying to be is, an impetus to spur them on, to ask the right questions, to ask the tough questions, to get them to dig a little bit deeper, to figure out where they want to go and then how they're going to get there and what they need in order to make that happen. As a result of that, you've got to have a lot of different people behind you in order to be able to refer them to you when you need them to.
And how is DoOver.me funded, or how do people pay for your services?
DoOver.me is a 501c3 not-for-profit. The people that come to DoOver.me are requested to pay a registration fee, and then all the services that they receive through DoOver.me are either free or they're paid for on a sliding scale based on the total gross income of the household and the number of people that are in the household. So an average client pays about a 50% fee of most of the services. The balance of our funding comes from donations, fundraising efforts, and hopefully grants, because we're just going into our third fiscal year, and most of the grants that we've applied to we've not been successful in getting them because we're not quite old enough yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, what kinds of people would be the best kind of people to look for you?
We tend to focus on two different age groups. We tend to focus on college students who are trying to figure out what they want to do and get the tools that they need, because we're finding that some of the universities don't do as good a job as others in helping them really prepare for the real world. And then older people like 50, 55 and over who are in a situation either through their own choosing or not where they have to reinvent themselves. They have to reimagine their lives. And it's amazing how many people just kind of fall into their life without really even making a conscious choice about identifying what their individual gifts are and then figuring out how to match them up with what they want to do in their life.
So if people need to contact you, what is your contact information so people can find you?
Well, we have a very robust website, which you can find at www.do-over.me. You can always call us, 630-402-0429, or stop by our offices on the east side of Geneva at 1141 Commerce Drive. Anyway, we're happy to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Cynthia.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity, Ellen.
Thank you. And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be back in a moment.
Downtown Batavia, always moving by nature. Recreation, nature, the arts, specialty shops, restaurants and services. Downtown is everyone's neighborhood. Come, celebrate, meet friends, unwind.
See you downtown.
The King County Chronicle is your best source for news and information in print and online in the Tri-Cities and Caneland.
This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
The Drendel and Jansen's Law Group has practiced law in Aurora since 1961 and in Batavia since 1994.
We focus our energy on representing people and businesses and families in the local community.
We represent clients in Keene and surrounding counties in matters ranging from divorce to wills, business law to zoning.
We focus our efforts on planning and working towards positive resolutions for businesses and families.
When clients need someone to fight for their interests, we're ready, willing, and able to act as aggressive advocates to protect their interests.
Drendel and Jansen's Law Group with offices in Batavia and Aurora and located on the web at batavialaw.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Wangler, President of Confident Air. Regular maintenance can prolong the life of your furnace and keep your energy costs to a minimum. Plus, there's less of a chance of a breakdown on a cold winter night. Your furnace needs proper care and attention to keep it running smoothly, so you don't end up paying too much for heating during the cold winter months, or worse yet, with deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. We recommend an annual inspection to ensure safe operation. Confident Air, your trusted home comfort professionals since 1992.
Our next guests are Cindy and Jim Cannella from Orange Home Services. They do heating and air conditioning. And Cindy and Jim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about Orange. You're in the Batavia community, and tell us about what you do and how did you get started here?
Well, we're a Batavia-based business. We started our heating and air conditioning company in 2010, and something I've always wanted to do. I had an opportunity to do it in 2010, and we did. And it's been a fun ride.
That's
to
great.
say the least. So.
That's great. So Cindy, tell us a little bit about what you do for Orange Home. You do a lot of things behind the scenes there.
Yes, I run the office, and I do have help. Trudy, she's a fantastic assistant. We take care of all the paperwork, invoices, phone calls, you name it. Everything on the back end, that's what we are here for.
Yeah,
great.
The guys in the field couldn't do it without those two in the office. So.
That's very important. That's very important. So now that it's getting to be warm now, and it's going to be cold later, or sometimes it's cold and warm, what are the kinds of things that people should be thinking about when they think about their comfort in their home?
Well, maintenance is the first thing. You know, it's like changing the oil in your car. You need to maintain your furnace and air conditioner. You know, every 6 months you need to have either your furnace cleaned or your AC cleaned, and we have maintenance agreements to help you with that. You pay monthly for it, and we call you, we schedule it, and something you don't have to think about. A lot of times people just put it on the back burner and they don't get it done. Mm-hmm. If you've paid for it up front, you tend to want to get it done. So it's something we offer.
And with that maintenance agreement, you get discounted rates. So
okay, so
it's always helpful.
It's a financial incentive as well as a reminder to get that done with your heating and your air conditioning.
Yeah.
So what did you do before you did the home heating and air conditioning?
I've always been in the heating and air conditioning field since I was little. So yeah, we started out there, and that was I've always been in the industry. So
he's always wanted to have his own business,
and now you have it.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that people should think about? Say that they're looking for another furnace or another air conditioner. What are some of the things people should think about if their old one died and it's time to get a new one? What should people be looking for?
The new systems have variable speed motors that save you money every month when it runs. The higher efficiency the unit is, the less it costs you every month. So you don't just look at that initial price, what it's going to cost. Look at what it's going to cost you the lifetime of the system that you buy. So efficiency is very important in that purchase decision you make. Is what the cost is monthly for you, not what the initial cost is up front. And in the quality of installation, I can't say that enough. That's the most important thing about getting a new system is the installation. Make sure it's done correctly, because if it's done wrong, you can buy the most expensive system and it's still not work correctly.
So it's much more than just meets the eye. It's something that there's value to things that we sometimes don't think about.
And don't see.
Right.
It might look the same to you, but if it doesn't work right, there's numbers and all kinds of things that go into sizing, and that's very important.
Now, one of the things I've heard about is that sometimes people have said that you can buy too big an air conditioner or too big a heating unit. Can you tell us a little bit about that logic? Because that's something that some people don't really understand, but I've heard from a number of very reputable sources.
Yeah, and that being said is, if you oversize an air conditioner, it might make your home cool, but it's not going to take the humidity out. You need to take the humidity out. So a system has to run longer to take the humidity out of the home, where a system that is too large for your home may cool, but doesn't run long enough to take the humidity out. So a cold, clammy house is not very comfortable.
Oh, so in other words, if you're starting to feel that the house is cold, but everything feels a little bit damp or a little bit moist.
Yeah, it's not taking the humidity out of the home.
And so that might mean that you need to think about the size of your air conditioner the next time you're out to replace it.
And anybody that comes out to give you an estimate on a new system should do a load calculation on your house and make sure that they are putting the correct system, not just what the last guy put in. Make sure that you're doing your due diligence on our end to make sure that the system we're putting in is correct size.
So what is a load calculation for those of us that are not quite so mechanically inclined?
It's just a bunch of different numbers from your house, from insulation, R values, to windows, to size, to, there's a whole calculation that you do, and it comes up with the correct size for your home.
So again, this is something that might cost a little bit up front, but it's going to save you money and in the long run.
It's included in installation.
Oh.
So, and the sales, when we come out and do an estimate, we do a load calculation on your home just to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I don't want that call back saying, my house is cold and clammy.
So in other words, if somebody calls you out and requests an estimate, the load calculation is a part of that evaluation process.
Correct.
That's great. I was just coming from a hotel the other day, and when you say cold and clammy, that's the way a lot of hotel rooms are. That everything feels a little bit damp, and it's not very comfortable. So I can appreciate this.
Yeah.
What kinds of things do you see that are things that are dangerous that people might be doing that would be a danger in their home?
Danger. The only thing when you say danger comes to mind is the new thing out there is, I believe, people huffing Freon, and they're grabbing. Oh. Yeah, so there's locking caps that we've been putting on all our systems today. So kids and adults or whoever is huffing Freon out of air conditioners. It's actually we shared it on our Facebook page recently.
Heard this one.
Yeah, it's a new way to get high, apparently.
Yeah, so.
And your air conditioner doesn't work as well either.
No, and it breaks your air conditioner. So.
Yeah, besides the fact that it's not good for you, it's not good for your air conditioner.
I think Aurora is one of the towns that it's code to put locks on your air conditioners now.
So if somebody has an older system that hasn't been seen for a while, and they're concerned that somebody might be curious, it might be a good idea to call somebody like you out to say, please put a lock on my system.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about how people contact you? If people want to learn more about right sizing or get an estimate of that, how can people contact you?
They could just call the office. Our phone number is 630-761-3343. And we'll be happy to answer any questions. You could send us an email, info@orangehomeservices.com.
And your office is located?
In Batavia, 12 West Wilson Street, right downtown.
Okay, so people walk by your office probably very frequently.
Yes.
Well, Cindy and Jim, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciated having you and learning a little bit about what we should be doing with our air conditioners now. And if somebody is thinking about this in the middle of the winter, they should be thinking in advance. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ellen.
And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors.
The Kane County Chronicle is your best source for news and information in print and online in the Tri-Cities and Caneland.
This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
Hi, I'm Tom Wangler, President of Confident Air. Regular maintenance can prolong the life of your furnace and keep your energy costs to a minimum. Plus, there's less of a chance of a breakdown on a cold winter night. Your furnace needs proper care and attention to keep it running smoothly, so you don't end up paying too much for heating during the cold winter months, or worse yet, with deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. We recommend an annual inspection to ensure safe operation. Confident Air, your trusted home comfort professionals since 1992.
Downtown Batavia, always moving by nature. Recreation. Nature. The arts. Specialty shops. Restaurants and services. Downtown is everyone's neighborhood. Come, celebrate. Meet friends. Unwind.
See you downtown.
The Drendel and Jansen's Law Group has practiced law in Aurora since 1961 and in Batavia since 1994.
We focus our energy on representing people and businesses and families in the local community.
We represent clients in Keene and surrounding counties in matters ranging from divorce to wills, business law to zoning.
We focus our efforts on planning and working towards positive resolutions for businesses and families.
When clients need someone to fight for their interests, we're ready, willing, and able to act as aggressive advocates to protect their interests.
Drendel and Jansen's Law Group with offices in Batavia and Aurora and located on the web at batavialaw.com.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Batavia Spotlight, where we get to know more about community organizations and businesses here in Batavia and in our local communities. I'm Ellen Huxtable, your host, so let's get started. We're very pleased to welcome Kim Mazur, who is with the Fermi Lab, and she is the box office manager for the Arts and Lecture Series over there. So thank you for joining us, Kim.
Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate the opportunity.
Tell us a little bit about the Arts and Lecture Series.
Well, first of all, Fermi Lab is America's particle physics and accelerator lab, and the Arts and Lecture Series is one of the open doors between Fermi Lab and the community. And there's many open doors. The lab is open to the public. The Arts and Lecture Series began over 40 years ago. Robert Wilson, the founding director, supported it, and he really believed in blending the arts and sciences. And he himself was an artist. And the moment you step on Fermi Lab property, you'll see his legacy and what he did. Today, the Arts and Lecture Series offers about 10 arts events in a season, and those are on a Saturday once a month, and about 8 to 10 scientific lectures, and those are on Friday evenings. And they are designed for the public, so you don't have to be a physicist to attend them. And in the middle of winter, when everybody has cabin fever and wants to get out a little bit but not venture too far, we offer 3 gallery chamber series on a Sunday afternoon in our arts gallery. And we have a committee of volunteers that really do everything from programming to ushering. So they help make it very affordable. You know, in today's world, when you go to buy a ticket for something, it's very expensive, and you tend to buy the group that you've watched and been a fan of for years. When it's affordable, you can really expand your horizons and try something different. For the arts series, our tickets average about $30 for an adult, $15 for a youth, and we're very generous with our youth ages. We say anyone 18 or below. And then for our gallery chamber series, it is $17, and then for our lectures, it's only $7.
Great values for all of them.
Yes, yes. And for the arts and the gallery chamber series, you can do season tickets. So, of course, we're Fermi Lab, so we have a prairie season package and a bison season package.
Prairie bisons.
Yeah. And when you come there, of course, you have free parking. Sometimes I say I pay more to go to a venue to park than I pay for than our tickets cost.
That's right.
And one of the advantages is we're right here. There's no long drives, and you get to see some of the science while you're there.
Absolutely. So tell us about some of the kinds of things that people might go to hear in some of your science lectures.
In some of the science lectures, we have, how to bake pie, P-I. Although the P-I-E will come into play. It's the mathematics of mathematics.
That's interesting.
We have the physics of sports, science in the kitchen, playing... we have our physics slam. That is once a year, and it's a hot ticket, so it sells very quickly. And 5 physicists present their area of science and do it in a very entertaining way. We've had claymation, we've had Elvis, we've had Doctor Who. Last year, a physics rapper won. So the audience gets to vote on who did the best job. And there's a lot of prestige in being the slam champion.
So physics is for everyone. It's not just for the nerds and the geeks out there.
That's right.
Physics is absolutely for everybody.
It's a lot of fun, and kids come. We have a lot of kids. We did one of the lectures was Science of Speed, where it was a scientist who worked with NASCAR drivers. And there was a number of kids there, and let me tell you, those 8 and 9-year-olds, they can ask questions that I don't understand.
And the people that you get for those guest lectures are all extremely knowledgeable and extremely well-versed in their areas. They're PhDs, they're researchers from sometimes all around the world.
Exactly, and we have Nobel laureates. So
absolutely,
you can see them all.
You can see them and hear them all. Now, on the art side, you bring in lots of different acts, and they're very well selected. They're a wide range of things. Tell us a little bit about the kinds of acts that you bring in.
The kinds of acts, it's things like Corky Siegel. He is a master of the harmonica.
Yes.
And we had Christina Pato. She was master of the Galatian bagpipe. So it's very unique. Fermilab itself is unique. So the Arts and Lecture Series does some unique things. We have Las Migas, they a group from Spain, and they're flamenco and much, much more. We have, if you love a marching band and love seeing them in a parade, we have a marching band that is doing an entire concert in a very fun way.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that's Mukapaza, and they're from Chicago also. We also offer family shows. There's Sephiris, which is an engineer turned juggler, and he uses geometry and physics. And then after his show, he explains it all, how it all works.
Oh my goodness. So there's lots of things for people to,
Yeah.
no matter what you're interested in, there's something
Right.
there for
If you
you.
like to go to plays, there's Agatha Christie's Murder on the Nile. There's The Other Mozart. It's about Amadeus' sister. And most people would say, he had a sister?
That's what I was going to say. She had a sister?
And she herself was a musical genius.
Oh, dear.
But she was lost to the ages because she was a girl. So it's the story of her life and
goodness.
what we lost of that genius just because they didn't have the diversity issues that we've recognized are so important.
Oh my goodness. Now, in addition to attending the events that you have, are your volunteers pretty much drawn from people within Fermi, or do you have volunteers coming from the outside community as
It's
well?
really from Fermilab, people
So-
within Fermilab and associated with it.
So it's an offering of Fermilab to those of us in the community.
Correct, correct.
How can people best get a hold of you? If they want to learn more about this or get on your mailing list or your email list, how can people do that?
They can go online, and it is fnal.gov/culture. And there's a subscribe area there, so they can subscribe to our mailing list. They can stop in, and we have a brochure. They can pick that up, or they can request it be mailed to them, or they can call us, and it's 630-840-ARTS, which is 2787.
Great, so that people don't have to be afraid of going into the gate, stopping at the station and telling the guard there that you're there for the art series.
Correct.
Going up to Wilson Hall, which is the big building in the middle, and inquiring at the information desk.
Correct. And I'm at the information desk, so I would love to see people there.
Excellent.
I would greet them and can tell them all about it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be back in a moment.
The Drendel and Jansen's Law Group has practiced law in Aurora since 1961 and in Batavia since 1994.
We focus our energy on representing people and businesses and families in the local community.
We represent clients in Kane and surrounding counties in matters ranging from divorce to wills, business law to zoning.
We focus our efforts on planning and working towards positive resolutions for businesses and families.
When clients need someone to fight for their interests, we're ready, willing, and able to act as aggressive advocates to protect their interests.
Drendel and Jansen's Law Group with offices in Batavia and Aurora and located on the web at batavialaw.com.
Downtown Batavia, always moving by nature. Recreation. Nature. The arts. Specialty shops. Restaurants and services. Downtown is everyone's neighborhood. Come, celebrate. Meet friends. Unwind.
See you downtown.
The King County Chronicle is your best source for news and information in print and online in the Tri-Cities and Caneland.
This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
Hi, I'm Tom Wangler, President of Confident Air. Regular maintenance can prolong the life of your furnace and keep your energy costs to a minimum. Plus, there's less of a chance of a breakdown on a cold winter night. Your furnace needs proper care and attention to keep it running smoothly, so you don't end up paying too much for heating during the cold winter months, or worse yet, with deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. We recommend an annual inspection to ensure safe operation. Confident Air, your trusted home comfort professionals since 1992.
Our next guest is Janet Rehecki, who is many things. She is an author. She's an author of children's books, and she specializes in dinosaurs. She has written 132 books that are currently available, and she's also the network representative for the SCBWI, which is the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Janet, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm delighted to be here.
Can you tell us about the SCBWI?
Okay, it's an organization that is designed to help children's book writers. Writing is kind of a lonely business. You sit home alone and you look at the computer and your fingers move, and it's kind of a lonely business. And Lynn Oliver and Stephen Musser, who are children's book writers, they decided to start one. And they thought we need an organization that's going to help people, and it's just grown and grown and grown, and now it's a huge international organization. And there are conferences at the national and international level, and then we work our way down to regional areas, and then there are even smaller networks. And so I'm a network representative for a small group of people in this particular area. And we try to help people who are aspiring to be children's book writers.
Now, your group meets where?
We meet at the Barnes & Noble in Geneva on Randall Road. We meet in the cafe, and we decided to make it real easy for people, so we meet the first Wednesday of each month and the fourth Tuesday. So we figured, how could you not remember that? Anyway, so we meet together. We're a critique group. We bring things to the group, we read them out loud, and then people offer suggestions about how to make it a little bit better. Usually about 4 or 5 pages a person, depending on how many people come each time. And it's fun, and you learn things. I know that my writing is better because of the people in that group, and you encourage each other and help each other. And when you get a rejection letter, you can share it with everybody, and they go, "Oh, that editor didn't know what she was talking about," and you get that kind of support from people. And that's just one of the best things that SCBWI has to offer, is the support that we can give each other.
So you don't have to be already published and an author of 100 books in order to belong to this group, right?
No, definitely not. Everybody was unpublished at one point in their lives. Everybody starts out at the same place, unpublished. And so our group are a mixture of published and unpublished people, and we try to be very welcoming and supporting for people who come in who have just written their first book.
Or somebody that might be thinking about writing a first book and wants to get a little bit of background or a little bit of support.
Yeah, we can give help at any different stage that you are at. Even if what sometimes happens to people. Madeline Langle, who is one of the most wonderful children's book writers, had a gap in her career. She had published 2 books, but they hadn't gone anywhere. They hadn't done much, and so she was having trouble getting published again. And so, if you're at that kind of a stage in your life, we can help. If you're, all different kinds of things where you're at. Dr. Seuss sent, and the thing that I saw on Mulberry Street, to 28 publishers, and they all said no. And then the 29th publisher sold 6 million copies of it. And so we know all those things, and we can tell you those things when you got a rejection letter at your first one, and we go, "Oh, don't worry about it. You have lots more coming." and I have a stack of rejection letters, that big, because I've been at this a long time, and you always. But the thing is that if you're all alone, then you don't have that. You just you go, "Oh, nuts! This must mean I'm not a good writer," and it doesn't mean that at all. And so we can help with that. And we also have resources on the website for SCBWI. You can log in onto the website. It's just www.scbwi.org, not .com, .org, because we are not a profit organization. And you can just log in there, and there is button after button after button that you can click on for information about anything you can think of: how to find an agent, what to look for in a publisher, how to develop characters, anything you want. It's there on that website. And publishing tips, insiders tips that aren't available to the general public. Those insider tips are there too. You do have to be a member, but it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it for friendship, for knowledge, for support. It's a wonderful organization.
So now to come to your meetings that you have in Geneva, somebody doesn't have to be a member before they come to the first meeting?
No, anybody can come. We are welcome. We don't actually ever ask. At the network level, we don't ask. You just come. I didn't say it was at 7 o'clock in the evening. I should have been to that.
Okay,
7 o'clock in the evening. You just come into the cafe. You look for a bunch of people sitting around at a table. All of them have these, manuscripts with them, and you say hi. We say hi, and we'll talk a little bit to get to know you. And and you can see, a lot of people the first time they just sit and listen. Mm-hmm. And when they find out that we're really actually kind of nice but constructive,
yes,
it doesn't do any good to tell somebody, "Oh, this is so good." How can you get better from that? You
exactly.
can't. Everything can get better. Everything
Absolutely.
can get better. And so we are kind but honest. And so it's really, I think it's a great organization.
Tell us just a little bit about your writing. Now, you've got 100 and some odd books, lots of them on dinosaurs, and the library from here to here are your dinosaur books. So tell us a little bit about what your passion is in your writing and what you do.
I have the best job in the whole world. I really do. I get to do all kinds of interesting things. I do primarily nonfiction books, and so I travel a lot to research my books. When we went on an actual dinosaur dig in Colorado, I dug up 3 real dinosaur bones. Ooh. And just by sheer coincidence, I didn't, of course, know this, but the paleontologist in charge of the dig, one of them turned out to be from a brand new species of dinosaur.
Wonderful.
So I discovered the first bone of the Morapelta, which you've never heard of, but I discovered the first bone. And when I did a book on Edison, we went to the Natural Historic Site, and I got to actually read the unpublished papers of Edison. And I spent 3 days on a reservation in Oklahoma when I wrote a book about the Osage Indian Nation. And
perfect job.
It is a wonderful job, and I love doing it. And then I collect dinosaur bones. And I take them around to schools and things like that and show my collection. I have about 50 now, including a 5'7" Apatosaurus femur. It's a replica, of course, because you couldn't carry around one that was real. And it was a Christmas gift from my husband.
That's love.
I know. I was ecstatic. It was the best Christmas gift I ever got. And so I was very excited about that.
So people want to find out more about the SCBWI and how they can get passionate and write about what their passions are. What's the best way for them to find out more about that?
You can go to www.scbwi.org. And SCBWI is Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Illustrators are also welcome. Our particular group doesn't have any illustrators in it, but we can put you in touch with illustrators. If you are interested in illustrating children's books, we can also help you with that.
Well, Janet, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope lots of people take up the invitation to go find more about this and get their passion for book writing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. It was a delight.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning in to Batavia Spotlight. Remember, you can watch us on Comcast Channel 17, AT&T Uverse Channel 99, or on our website, www.mybatv.com. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which is BATV 1017. I'm your host, Ellen Huxtable, and we'll see you again next time. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us at 630-937-5413 or email us at info@mybatv.com. Have a wonderful day.